All right. Excuse me. It says we're live. So let me set up the other computer. If you're watching on YouTube, just scrub forward until you see something happen. Usually takes just a very few minutes for peeps to start flowing in. You know what? I was just thinking, I don't think Robert Vaughn's ever subscribed to my channel. So then I should see. Well, I'm not going to mess with it now. I want to make sure that Robert Vaughn subscribes to my channel, that little creep. So based on what you see on the desk today, you can almost guess what I'm going to be doing. Hi, Barb. I'm going to Zentangle today. Hi, Dabbler. Oh, that reminds me, I need to show that too. I've got it sitting here, waiting. All right. Glad you're here early. I might have missed it. Hi, Mindy. Hi, other Barbara. So we'll just give people a few minutes. It looks fuzzy to me. Let me double check what my little settings are on. All right. All right. Just me, I guess. Hi, Sharon. Sharon's been coming lately, and I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate all lurkers. Hit the like button if you haven't. Give you something to do while we're waiting. I already got a thumbs down. They all count, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I got some fun Happy Mail to show today. I'll show the watercolor that I did last week. And yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So if you're not a fan of Zentangle, I'd say there's other things you need to be doing. Hey, Dee Dee. The mail came, Dee Dee. And guess what I got? Hi, Carmen. So it did come. I just barely got it before I got on. So I did open your package. Dee Dee, you need to tape those packages better because it only took an X-Acto, a switchblade, and 3 hammers to get into that package. So I wish you'd tape them up just a little bit better in the future, if you don't mind. Hi, Teresa. And I got a card from Teresa Peterman today as well. So I haven't had a chance to read the letter. So Teresa, as always, I think about you commonly. Hope all is well with you and Blue. And I'll read the letter after I get off today. But she always writes the greatest letters. Just reflections and yeah. So keep up your good spirits, Teresa. Here's Teresa's card. But butterfly die cuts that she put glittery, probably stickles, my guess. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Dorothy. Hope you're doing well, Dorothy. Think about you. So Teresa's so good at layering her cards. They're always so well done, so well spaced. Everything's straight. It's awesome. Thank you for the smiles you bring to my face. Thank you, Teresa. So, and Teresa's always so good about not signing it, so if I want, I could actually use that. I need to put those in a special, I do keep them all together, but I need to put it in a place where I actually think to use them. That would be good, right? Yeah, Dee Dee, listen to Ashley. Hi, Kimberly. Okay, you guys, that made me think of, I did go to the mailbox or the post office I think it was Thursday. All you people who I sent little journals to, if you're domestic, should be getting them today. I only sent one international, and of course, I can only track it to the border, so I don't know when you'll receive it. But somebody at Dee Dee's this morning told me that they had finally gotten their ATC cards. It was like, dang, was that a month? Hi, Judy. Did you eat that pie yet, Judy? Judy just made us all look like a bunch of slackers in chat this morning at Dee Dee's. I mean, she's doing baked salmon with raspberry and pies, and yeah. I thought pies just came in cardboard boxes in the freezer section, but apparently you can make them from scratch. Who would have thought? So, yep, I gotta put this in Teresa's so I remember to read it later. And I had a crazy weekend because yesterday, or let's see, it must have been Saturday night, a branch fell out of my oak tree out front and pulled down my internet fiber optic. So, yesterday morning, Robert got me up early and said, we don't have internet or TV. Everything's down. The line was pulled down. So I had to get up and call. And let me answer. Yes, I am, Dorothy. Okay, so apparently some people are having audio issues, others are not. I did check the camera and the mic before I came on, and it was fine. So, yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, so no internet. And that doesn't necessarily bother me. That's weird. Sound is good. Thank you, Mindy. Yeah. Judy, I wish you lived next door to me. I would just pay you to cook. I didn't go into a panic. You know, I have enough data on my phone that I could go check the news and do stuff like that. But yes, I try to stay off the computer for the most part during the weekends anyway, so to me it wasn't a big deal. I was more worried that I wouldn't be able to get to Dee Dee's this morning. That's what was really bugging me, is that if they don't come yesterday, that I'm not going to be at Dee Dee's and I won't stream today. That's what made me nervous. But what can you do? There's nothing you can do, so oh well. But the guy got here like in 6 hours. It was pretty good service. And I do love, we have Volt TV and cable, and I have to say, since I switched over to them, we have not had even a blip on the meter. So, yeah, they were out here. The young kid that came and did it was so nice and polite, and yeah, it was awesome. So, some time ago, Tori, the Artful Dabbler, who's in chat, said she had mailed me a bunch of stuff, ephemera and stuff in the mail, and I never got it. So she turned around and sent it again, some more. So I did get it, Tori. She sent me flower embellishments. It's all just fun stuff. And I don't know how you got this stuff in the little thing. I couldn't get it back, so I didn't even try. So here we go. She sent me a bunch of Irish postage, which I love because I love any kind of postage. So thanks for that. She sent little shamrocks, cut out shamrocks, which will end up everywhere. So I'm not sure I should say thanks for that. Don't ever do that to Barb Owen. Which reminds me, Barb Owen has a birthday this month. Oh, it could be Judy. I am sitting at a different angle. And a Ireland playing card. So all this will end up somewhere someday. And then some gold foil to use with tacky glue, which, yeah, I will definitely use that. And then look at monkey stickers, all my ancestors. Look at them. Aren't they awesome? Hey, K-Berg. So this one's my favorite. Chimpanzee. Yeah, they remind me a lot of my siblings. And then copper foil, so that will get used. And then some stickers of butterflies, frogs, hummingbirds, and I guess it's just a beetle. I usually find carcasses all over beetles. And some dimensional stickers, which are cool. Very cool. I like these because if I use them in the Beast, they don't take up any bulk. They, you know, they pop up when you open the page, but they'll lay flat. So that's cool. And this, I guess, I wasn't sure, Tori. You can tell me what this is. I don't know. It's like, let me get a piece of paper out here and put it on top so you can see it. It's like netting. It's very cool looking. And I guess it's to add texture. Just monkeying around as usual. Hi, Blue Petal Media. I'm not sure if you've ever come to my channel or live stream, but thank you. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, this is some really cool stuff. I imagine you would put it down with matte medium. But yeah, it's just really cool looking stuff. It's kind of shimmery if you get it in the light the right way. So that's very cool. And then just some different papers. These are cool. And I'm assuming, yeah, they are sticky backed, but it's like the whole sheet. I think they're sticky back. They look like they should be sticky back. Hang on, I'm going to try it. Tori will tell me. Hey, stupid. They're sticky back. Yeah, they are. Oh, look. I didn't know that. Surprise. Hi, Kalura. It's great. Used for texture. Also, if you have a heat tool, you can melt holes in it. Cool. Yeah, look at these. You pull this apart, and you end up with rows of stars and circles. Oh, now that's cool. I've never seen that. Maybe we have stuff like that in America. I've just never seen it. Very cool. I wonder if this does the same thing. That is so, you can't even tell where it's die cut. That's amazing. Let me see if this is the same way. It is kind of hard to separate from the backing, so just bear with me. I'm not reading chat because I'm enthralled with this cool stuff I got here. Oh, maybe it's going to take an X-Acto. Those border stickers, the one in lines, can go around. Oh my God. All right, I'm not going to make you guys sit there. But yeah, those are going to be cool to play with. Thank you, Tori. And then this is like that paper that has threads and stuff in it. That's always cool. Look at this one. Very, very textured. So this would be fun to play with. And then you told me something. Bend the sheet and pull one at a time. Okay. Bend the sheet. Okay. She's just wanting me to look like a goof. Okay, I see what she's saying. Is you can just pull this up. Oh, these are tiny, tiny ones. You can just pull it up one at a time. Oh, how cool is that? Now I have to get it back. Oh, God. Now you'll see this anal side of me where it's got to go back just the way it was. You can't have it, not have it like it was. And then a little white paper bag, which I probably will cut something so if I use it for storage, I have access. And then what was this, Tori? That sheet folded at the bottom is a pile of tea bag paper. Okay. All right. I think I was lurking at Colleen's the other day, I think. Wasn't she using this tea bag paper with that wax that she was using? It was very cool. I can't tell you the name of it because I came in late and I was just distracted. Anyway, but yeah, that'll be fun to play with that because it almost ended up transparent if I think right. Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably have to look at some videos to see how people are using tea bag paper because I'm not sure I know how to do it. But Tori, all of it is so much fun. Thank you. I really appreciate it because it's, I was whining that you didn't have tea bag paper. Okay, that's the stuff. Okay. Acrylic wax, that you used regular tea bag. Okay. That's what I thought. So now, am I going to have to get some acrylic wax? Hi, Colleen, by the way. I was lurking. There was so much going on that day. Yeah, I didn't even get in chat and say hi to anybody because I was just like, too much going on. Eileen is sharing with Kathy and you? Okay, cool. Eileen's good that way. She's a good sharer person. All right, I got everything back in the envelope without losing anything. Maybe it's just some of those shamrocks, which I'll cuss you later, Tori, for that. But that's okay. The vacuum gets them really easy. Okay, and then Dee Dee, when I was doing those little journals, let me grab one. I have one somewhere, I know. The little baby journals. Here's one that I did end of last week because I was going to send out a couple extras. I did the little embossing on it, and I was talking to Dee Dee, and she said, oh, I have a whole alphabet. And I'd actually looked at the alphabets when I was at Hobby Lobby. If you've never looked at the leather supplies at Hobby Lobby, they have a ton of stuff. I had never looked, so I didn't know. But yeah, she said she'd send me. See, look at what she does to me. You can't get into the damn thing. I'll be so frustrated by the time I get in there that I'll end up throwing it at Robert when he walks in the door. I'll blame Robert for what Dee Dee did to me. Just get out tools. Okay, you'll need to order the acrylic wax from Patty Lang. All right, I'll have to come back to chat and see that because what you did with it was very cool looking, I have to say. Dee Dee, these alphabets are not in order. Look at, you have to, it's not like A, B, C, D. They're all scrambled. They're scrambled. But I appreciate it. I love it. It's like Fort Knox, no lie. Dee Dee makes sure that you work for the things. So if you're not familiar, and this is much like the one I got, I'll just pull the A out. You put I call these dies. At Hobby Lobby, I think they're called stamps, leather stamps. But your image is going to be reversed, right? So, yeah, I got some leather out. This leather is going to be a little bit harder to, sorry you didn't fix them. That's okay, Dee Dee. I'm going to cut you some slack this time. But you know me, and you know that alphabets out of order will make me a little crazy. She gave me a puzzle, right? All right, I'm looking for my cutting mat. What did I do with that? There it is. Put it in a different place. So let's give it a try and see how well it works. I got out a little piece of leather. Oh, I don't want the egg. And you just push them on and pull them off. So they're real easy. There's the J. We're going to do a J first. And I just have my little hammer, not my big hammer. So let's see. You know what? I should mute this to pound. Otherwise, it's going to break you guys' eardrums. I'm going to mute for a minute. Just watch me. Hopefully I won't forget to unmute myself. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. This is stiffer leather than what I used on this. I'm going to have to pound the hell out of it. I'm going to have to get a bigger hammer. The J worked out, but you could tell every time I smacked it, it moved just a little bit. So it's going to take some practice. But thank you, Dee Dee. I will definitely be using them. So that was one of the prizes that came in there. Now we go in with my leather stuff. I actually have a leather tote now, believe it or not. I never thought I'd have one of those. And then she said her and Denise, when Denise came over and hung out with her, were going through some of her stuff. And they were finding, oops, his arm broke. That's okay, I can fix him. Sock Monkey Charm. Well, he will be going on a very special place. Now I've just got to keep that together. So let's look at all the Sock Monkey stuff. I don't have a Sock Monkey Charm like that. Here's a Sock Monkey paper clip, which the Beast isn't here. So, oh, you know what? He can go in my new little journal, right? Yeah, he'll have to live in here. Oh, he's so cute. Look at his little head will just stick right up above there. Hey, Mom. Denise picked it all out. Denise is my spirit animal. I swear to God she is. Oh, I got 2 of them. Yeah, baby. Well, it'll have to go in the front one, so it's not in my way when I'm drawing. I'm going to show you guys this here in just a minute. Oh my God, little journals with sock monkey faces popping out. Does life get any better than that? I think not. Oh, and then here's another sock monkey. Does he have all his parts? Yeah, he has all his parts. So this one I'm going to do surgery on here in a little while. I've got the part. And then look at this one. Yeah, they'll be going on. One of them, Dee Dee, don't you think should go on that Navi journal that we bought? So, but I will say that I enjoyed doing this leather work. I didn't emboss this one. And it's the same leather that I just tried to emboss. So I may have to go out and look at more videos of leather tooling, which I've worked with leather before, but I've never embossed it or tooled it or anything like that. So thank you, Dee Dee. And then here's some little sock monkey. Now I've had some of these, and I may still have some. I don't know. but they're like little brads, sock monkey brads in all different, are they in different positions? These are all standing. I think mine were sitting or something. Yeah, I think I had the sitting ones. And they're all different colors. Oh my God. I'm gonna have sock monkeys on everything. Hi, Nettie. So thanks, Dee Dee. You're a pal. We've been waiting. This stuff should have been delivered last Friday. The guy finally got around to it today. But I think they finally just sorted first class mail, because all I've been getting the last few days, well, about a week, was pre-sorted. So, yeah, I knew they hadn't been sorting mail over there, because I always get something. Okay, and then, what else? Okay, last Monday, I did this watercolor, drew it, and then watercolored it with the Crayola watercolor pencils. So other than the white that I added at the very end, everything on here, I haven't added any colored pencil or anything. This is all these Crayola watercolor pencils. So I really like it. Hi, Susie girl. Anybody else I might have missed? Hi, Rachel. So everything on this is these Crayola watercolor pencils. I have to say I'm a little bit flabbergasted with the quality and the rich colors that you can produce with them. When I finished the other day, I hadn't done a second coat. I had pretty much just first coated everything. So I went back and did a second coat on everything. But I will say I'm more than flabbergasted with these 12 pencils, that the colors on here came out so rich. So don't be afraid to buy and use the inexpensive products, you guys, because this, I mean, if that's not proof right there that their products will give you really good results. I'm not saying that the art is great, but the actual watercoloring itself, I can't say one bad word about it. And the only thing I would say is, like, the blue background, it's coming out quite a bit lighter than what is on the paper. You're just not going to see it that well, but like this blue down here is a lot darker. But otherwise, I would say the vibrancy of the colors is pretty much exactly the way it appears on the sheet. So I haven't decided on what quote I'm going to write up here. I will put a quote up here. And this is done in the 8x8. I think it's 8x8. That's probably close enough. Yeah, 8x8 Arteza watercolor journal. They're nice and sturdy, and they're inexpensive. You get a 2-pack for like almost no money. So for practicing and just playing around with your products, I would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with the inexpensive Arteza journal or the inexpensive watercolors. I don't remember what I used on this. I'm going to try and start taking better notes, so that I would write on here that this is Crayola watercolor pencils, because next week I won't remember. Hi Flo, and thank you. The cute little mouse. I don't remember. I don't know if I did that on stream or if I was just playing watercolor and ink. And it's all boogered up in the middle, so who knows. But yeah, I don't remember if that was on stream or not, frankly. And this I was just playing around with, see, I don't remember, but I think it was ink and stencils. And then this I just tried to duplicate. This one and this one are napkins that I cut out, and then I just tried to duplicate it with watercolor. And that was over a year ago. Go figure. So, yeah. So don't be afraid of the inexpensive products. And I don't know if I could have created that in just one pass with the more expensive. But yeah, for $3.50, that's what these cost. I paid full price, $3.50 at Hobby Lobby. And my guess is you could probably get them cheaper like at Walmart or someplace like that. And I still think, nope, Crayola, these are made in Brazil. So, but they're still okay to buy. And say, are they made in China? Because then I'm going to be mad at myself. But they're not. They're made in Brazil. So they're okay to buy. You can buy them. And then I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do today. So I've got crap on top of my nice paper. I think I'm going to Zentangle. Hang on, gotta put this away. And I've shown you guys this little journal that Dee Dee sent me months and months ago. Probably over a year, actually. That I was going to use it as just a Zentangle example book. And so I'll flip through it real quick. Not the whole thing, but just if I miss a few pages, oh well. I'll pull you in so you can see, because this is pretty small. And I love Zentangle, so doing this is not a problem. This is not the greatest paper, so it's really just examples. You like that, Kalura? Devin asked me to start doing a list again, so I think August 1st, I'm going to start putting out a list again. Let's see if we can get the damn camera to focus. Thank you, Flo. If you haven't yet, a thumbs up is always appreciated. So let's see if we can cajole the camera. I do not understand this. The camera definitely does not like white. That's for sure. That I know for absolute certain. So you're getting the idea anyway. So when I picked these, I was just kind of trying to pick some of my favorites that I think work well when you're doing a big design. So that was kind of how I chose. You like the list? Okay, good. Well, I wish you guys had said something. I just figured after I had introduced you to the tanglepatterns.com that you may want to draw your own, that you don't have to draw what I tell you, right? So, yeah. So, yeah, this is the little book. And since the last time I showed you guys the little sock monkey guy, these are the new ones I've added. India. And that's a new design for me. I had never seen that one. But I like it. PD. I don't know what PD stands for. Pretty dumb in my world. Payne Pinto. This is M. Anning. Like Manning, I guess. Some of these I had on our list. So, Moon Waves. That was a new one. I had never seen that one before. Nayu was on our list, and I just like it. It looks so hard to draw, and in reality, it's so easy. Well, you know what, Kalura, and I was telling Dee Dee this earlier, I do better when I have the list. I'm not kidding you. I guess I'm not disciplined enough. And then this was one out of the book that I'm going to go ahead and do. And somebody over the weekend had made a comment on one of my videos. So I'm going to get the Zentangle pattern book out again and flip through quickly for you guys. So that's a work in progress. But she was asking about these step-out cards that I make for my book. And I'm going to pull you guys out. So if the focus goes crazy, you'll have to live with it. Because I'm sympathetic that way. and I've told you guys before, if I had this to do over, I would probably use a Rolodex, because keeping these things alphabetized is really kind of a pain in the neck, because I have to move things around and stuff. But she was asking about the little cards that I make, and I just cut a bunch of paper, 2.5 by 3.5, which is standard size for an ATC. Also standard size for baseball cards. So these are all stored in baseball card sleeves. You can buy them anywhere, and they're pretty inexpensive. So if you like this way of storing them, that's great. But honestly, keeping them alphabetized is kind of a pain in the neck. You end up moving stuff around a lot. But she was asking about when I make the cards. I just took a piece of, you can use acetate. This is actually one of those cutting plastics that you can get at Dollar Tree. I just cut it down and made a template or a stencil. And I have one that is 4 squares. And then I have one that is 6 squares. So if you want the measurements of those, okay, here's the 6 square one. I can give you the measurements, but it's easy to figure out. Just figure your halfway, how big you want your squares. I think mine are inch square. Yeah, inch square. And then just divide the remaining space by 3, both up and down, and you'll get your measurements. But I can give it to you if you want. But generally the step outs are always broken down into 4 steps or 6. So is it Mylar? It's not Mylar. It really is just a little bit stiffer plastic. But it works awesome. So, and you only have to measure it once, which is good. But you can also use, you know, those folders that you buy for school, the plastic folders, or those spiral bound notebooks that come with the plastic cover. Those are all stiff enough to do this. So just look around you and you'll find something that you can use to make those. And then put it back where you found it. Right? And then these are just notes. So I'll just flip through here real quick. Oh, I've got that one, so I can put that away. And I've said before, I've done some in color. Not a huge fan of the color ones. I really like the black and white because the shading shows up better in my mind. But another thing is, like Zentangle, the whole idea of it is doing something repetitive that lets your mind kind of wander. And where you can kind of get that Zen feeling. And it works that way for me. Is that better, Dee Dee? I could straighten it so y'all don't have to turn your head. You like black and white too? Yeah, I don't know why. I prefer black and white. And this is a brown that I did with a dip pen. And I think I did this on stream. I like this one pretty good, but I still don't, it's just not as stark as the black and white. I think the black and white, the designs just stand out better, they contrast better or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's just, it always is just preference. These are some ones from other people. I think this one's K-Berg. I hope it says on the back. But I did go ahead and just put these in my book. Yep, this is actually Kathy Berg's Zentangle that she submitted for the ATC swap. So, I just put it in here because I didn't know where else to put it. And it has to go like with like. Dang it. There we go. That's better. But I like to see, you know, that I enjoyed the heck out of the Zentangle swap just to see other people's take on what was going on. This was Lena's, I remember. This black, primarily black. This is Scratch Off, and this was Janice Johnson. And then this was Lena's, and she cut it up into ATCs, so you got a portion of the face. It was very cool. And what's really funny is this design, I remember my best friend in 6th grade and I thought we made this design up. It's called Knightsbridge. But we used to color our covers of our books and everything like that. We thought we'd made it up. Her name was Karen Lachelle, believe it or not. So anyway, the book, this is just like a cheat sheet where I drew out each of them. And that it was all I had at the time. I have not added to this cheat sheet forever. So if I wanted a grid pattern, I could just go look for the names of them. And then if I needed this step out, I could go to its corresponding card back here, right? And then I took photocopies of these and made this little flip out book because the binder's too big. So I made a little to-go book of all the cheats. And then I just figured, well, if I have to look them up, I can go on the internet wherever I'm at, right? So, and that's another thing. You don't need to keep the step outs because if you have access to the internet, which I did not have yesterday, they're always kind of at your fingertips, right? So, it is a lot of Zentangle, Dee Dee. And I don't really know when I started this, but I kind of set myself a goal where I did 1 or 2 every evening. After dinner, I just sat and did a few every evening. I like these where I've incorporated the designs into quotes. That's all I did. Or I gave the rest away. I don't know. So the rest of this is all just each of the step outs. After you get familiar with them, you don't necessarily need the step outs, but if you're a little bit anal and crazy like I am, you want it. You want to keep it because you're basically a hoarder. For real. Hey, Dorothy, did you get your sound issue figured out? Hi, CB. Anybody else I might have missed coming in? Little. CB, you can go to the corner now and sit with Dee Dee. You'll have somebody to make fun of me with. So anyway, I'll just flip through here real quick. And it is double-sided, but I'd have to back out to the moon. And on tanglepatterns.com, all of the patterns are presented in alphabetical order. You'll be good, maybe. I'll believe that when I see it. But this one, you know, like it's just nice if I'm going to tangle on the couch, just to take this one rather than drag this whole book out. One of the ones I do want to draw today. Let me get myself a piece of paper. I just remembered I like this pattern and I want to include it today. Okay, so I'll just flip through real quick. So get yourself a book. Oh, hi, Linda. Tim loves it. Okay, good. That makes me feel good, Linda. If it made him happy, it makes me happy. There's just something real satisfying about it, right, Clara? Like, there's just something so satisfying about this whole thing. And I don't care if it took me 100 hours. It probably took at least that. Because I would do it probably an hour every evening for months and months and months. Ooh, I like that one too. Making myself a list of things that I might want to. Well, one thing you can do that's nice is I'll pull out the step outs of the ones that I want to do today. Or you guys, we can do it where you guys give me alphabet and I have to just go pick one from that. Or if you have one that you want a scene drawn, I can do that too. Because what I'm going to use, do today is I'm going to make something to actually display in my own house, which I don't display my own artwork in my own house. I either give my stuff away or it goes in a journal and it goes on a shelf, and that's it. Didi and CB do not encourage each other. Mischievous mods, apparently, Judy. So yeah, if you have a design that you want to see, I'll happily look it up if it's something I don't know or whatever. And I know a lot of you really like this. I like when I don't know why I started doing this. I think it was, oh, I know, it was one of the lists that I started doing an ATC card, a big one of just the design, and then I put it in the book. So I kind of like that. I'm not going to go back and redo them all, but I do kind of like having the whole ATC of one design so you can kind of see it in use. All right, this one's kind of fun too. And if you're like me, you get your favorites. And I don't mind taking these out of here because I can come always right back and put them right back, right? Didi, you've never looked better. This is always a good one. I always like black and white stripes, black and white checks, anything like that, because it's just, I don't know, eye-catching. It's probably why I like Mary Engelbright art so much. Is she's big on the black and white checker borders, right? This one is very cool looking. I like that one. And I always wonder about the people who take the time to sit down and actually create the step outs. Because when you go to the tanglepatterns.com website, and you go to the independent, you know, each of the designs, there's usually a link that will take you to somebody else's vlog or, you know. And I always wonder, you know, like, are you sitting in a doctor's office and you're looking at the tile and you go, wow, that would make a great zine. I don't have the inclination to create my own, but I really admire the people who come up with it. And it's weird that I'm not inclined to do that myself. Now, I will not uncommonly sit and think about, if I was going to draw that, where would I start? You know, I do that a lot. Do you incorporate Zentangle into your dangles? I kind of think of dangles as just a different way of tangling, really. But no, I have not. I have not. But dangles and Zentangle to me are much the same, I don't know, approach to art, I guess. But anyway, what I was saying earlier was what I'm going to do today is going to be for display in a couple of photo frames that I have. They're in boxes, and they're boxes that store CDs. And I took the pictures of the family out, not because I didn't like the family, but just because it was time for a change. And I've been kind of pondering, what do I want to put in there instead? and I decided, well, maybe I would like Zentangle, just something different. I like this one. But also, too, you got to think about how you're going to be using it. You know. I like poke root. Where's poke root? I bet if you looked at some of your random doodles, you would find an original tangle. That could be, CB. Because I am a huge doodler. If I'm sitting on the phone, I was sitting on the phone this morning while I was at Dee Dee's. But anyway, beside the point. Yeah, if I'm sitting on the phone, I just start doodling. Not drawing anything in particular, just doodling. I like sugarcane too. I'll put that one. But it's funny because like this one here, it's called rolled paper. And if you're not, yeah, it's in pencil, so it may be hard for you guys to see, but if you've not ever tried to draw that yourself, you probably think, gosh, that would be hard to draw. But then when you see the actual step outs, it's like, well, anybody could do that, right? Expects to see a Zentangle hashtag in your title later. Oh, Dee Dee. The girl is trying to train me, and honestly, it's got to be the hardest thing she's ever done. I wrote myself a note, Dee Dee. We'll see if I do it. I will, just to make you happy. Hey, Z. I hope you're feeling better. I hate when you tweet and say you're not feeling good. I like that one, too. Yeah, there's so many of them that I just love. I just love them. This one's always good. Always good. Because you can make it look so three-dimensional. And those are the ones that I like the best. No, she won't, CB. She's tried all these years, and it hasn't happened yet, and my guess is it's probably not going to happen. Just saying. I think I might use that one, too, because it always looks really good 3D. But it doesn't mean that she's going to quit trying. All right. I'm about done looking through this. And you guys have probably seen enough too. Trying to read chat and flip pages. It is so hard being me. All right, so let's get started drawing. Enough of this. And I have a bunch, but I'll probably have to come back. So if you guys want to suggest any, get them in your head now. And I'll put this big book away. And if you guys think this isn't heavy with all these plastic sleeves and paper, you are so kidding. That's part of the reason I would say use a Rolodex or something else that's easier. And I'm going to work on Bristol paper today. There's Bristol and there's Bristol vellum. I forgot to look at the weight. The Bristol vellum has a little bit more of a texture, not much. I mean, not much texture. But I think I'm just going to use the regular Bristol, and if I had to guess, it's at least 100 pounds. So it's a little bit weighty. But the thing is, it's a nice, smooth surface. So hopefully the ink will be absorbed and not move, right? And I'm going to use both Copic and Micron pens because I like the plastic nib Micron a lot. And then for bigger areas, I'll use the fatter nib if I need it. So there we go. She would get hundreds of likes of a Zentangle video on IG. You think, Dee Dee? I've never put a video on IG. Never. And the 2 frames that I'm going to put these in, the opening for the photograph or whatever you're going to put in there is 4 by 6. So, you know what? That just, thinking. All right. I know how. I didn't say, is this going to work? But my brain was not working well. All right. So this is 9 by 12. So the 6-inch way is going to be easy. And I think I'm just going to do one piece of art and then cut it in half when I'm done. So it will look like a continuation in the photos, which are not going to necessarily sit right next to each other, right? Using a ruler is so satisfying. And I am going to go outside of the lines so that when I cut it out, the design will go off the paper. But then that makes me think I need to ask myself, do I want a border? You know, like those things you've got to plan ahead. So, you know, do a border around each of them so while they're not going to sit next to each other, they'll look like they somewhat match. That would actually not be a horrible idea. Okay. And because the Zentangle orientation doesn't matter, it can be sideways or up and down. Okay, bye, Teresa. Have a great afternoon. All right, I think I'll just do it like the originators of Zentangle. I'm going to pull you guys down now, so if you get sick, sorry, Dee Dee's fault. But I think I'll just start with a string much like the originators of Zentangle recommend. And I use the string, but I don't pay a whole hell of a lot of attention to it. So, thinking. Do I want a border? Would you guys want a border or not a border? I'm asking for input here. Let me get out my cheat sheets too, so if I decide on one, I can look it up easy. Because I have broken them down into random patterns, grid patterns, and then border patterns. That some of them are just, they lend themselves better to those categories. And if you're familiar with Zentangle, you pretty much get that. What, Dee Dee? Not if your frame goes up to the edge. I actually, rather than, you're right, Dee Dee, because I measured the actual opening, what part of the picture you see. So the edges, some of them would be behind. Autofocus is on, Dee Dee. You want me to turn it off? But yeah, you're right. So I shouldn't do a border, because then if I don't get it in there exact, it's going to be a problem. Look at Dee Dee planning ahead. You gotta love that girl. So yeah, I'm not gonna do a border because that is gonna create problems for my bad self. But I think what I will do, since they're gonna appear, you know, on the same chest or whatever, if I do a design on this side, I'm gonna be more inclined to repeat it on this side. So yeah. Let me just go over and turn it on and off again, Dee Dee. I think the biggest single problem right now is the white paper. It really does not like white paper. Oops. Wrong button there, goofball. All right, let's see if that works a little bit better. You tell me. Choosing pen nib size is always probably, to me, the biggest pain in the neck. So I generally go with a 1 or a 3, a 0.1 or a 0.3. The 0.5 and the 0.05 and the 0.03, I'm almost afraid to use because I crush them because I'm bad that way. So I'll get... Alright, I'm going to use the 0.2 today. I'm going to see how it works on this Bristol. It's not making it really black. 0.3 is working better. I'll work with the 0.3. So, well, that is stupidish. It got really fuzzy there, didn't it? See how bad it hates that dang white? Ugh. Poor Dee Dee. I'm reading, CB. Alright, I'll keep this in there. The first design I think I'm going to do, just because I use it in almost every one of my designs, is called Dragonair. And I use it as a kind of a border. So I think I will do that throughout the whole thing. It's really easy to draw. Just start anywhere. I'm going to separate you two if you don't start behaving better. That's all I got to say. If Tina was here, she would be defending me. The card does help, yes. Because it's not white. So... So what I did yesterday, when I didn't have internet, I think it freaked Robert out way more than it freaked me. It was like he didn't know what to do. I was just like, whatever. There's plenty to do. You got books. You got DVD players with DVDs. I mean, there's plenty to do. Get your ass outside and work. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't figure out how to fill up 6 hours, your life sucks. I did wash floors. You know, like, real work got done. Which, if I'd have had the internet, would I have done that? I probably would have, because the floors were horrible. But, so it was actually kind of a nice day for me, because I got all my work done. And I sat down and watched Once Upon a Time in America, which is a movie that I'd wanted to watch forever and ever. And I had the DVD, but I had never actually sat down and watched it. And I had read quite a bit about it. that, and I can't tell you who the director was, but he apparently wanted to make this movie for many, many years. It ended up being huge. It was like an epic tale, right? And it had Robert De Niro and James Wood in it. Wash floors is your idea of fun. Oh, but I love it when they're done, CB. When you look across the kitchen floor and that tile is just as shiny as ever, you have no idea how satisfying that is to me. I love it. And when all the rugs look like they've just been vacuumed, I like that. Anyway, I like James Woods, and he was excellent in that movie. And if any of you remember the movie or saw the movie, it's over 3 hours movies. I mean, it took 2 DVDs, right, to make the movie. At the end of the movie, you guys, I was frustrated because it was just like, I thought I had missed something because I didn't understand what happened at the end. Did anybody else see that movie and then wonder at the end, what the hell just happened? What did I just see or not see? I hate movies like that. I'm going to go ahead and connect this because I don't want a lot of blank space up there. She would call out all the names in a string and then say, you know who I mean. Oh, are you talking about your mother, Rachel? We had 7 kids, and yeah, my mom did that all the time. Dick, Larry, Martha, Gary, Janet, Donnie, and Rock. Just like all in a row. And then you knew somebody was going to get their ass kicked. And you ran and hid. If Dad wasn't home. If Dad was home, you towed the line. Okay. I'm going to pull out just a little bit so I can have focus, you freak, and you guys can still see what the heck I'm doing. So nobody's seen Once Upon a Time in America. But anyway, after the internet came back on, I did have to go look it up and see what other people thought about the ending, because I was just like, I was seriously wondering if I had fallen asleep. What did I miss? So that's what you do with a day without internet. I should make us do that more often, frankly, because my imagination started working right away. Plus, Robert ate a little bit better, I think. Just saying. I did cook for us more. Or better. And I'm doing this part of it to keep it cohesive, so that there's something that's going to appear in both of them. I did a long time ago. You don't remember. Okay, see, and it was a very, very old movie. I have to say, the acting was good, really good. James Wood especially, I thought was good in it. And he was still fairly young. I don't know how old the guy is now, but I've always liked him as a character actor. Hi, Kathleen, by the way. Okay, I'm getting where I'm going to match up here in just a second. And the thing about this is, if I end up not liking it, I'll just cut it up into ATCs or something and write thank you notes on the back or something, so it won't go to waste, even if I don't like it in the frames. I'm actually taking pictures of family out. And it's not because I don't like them, it's just I want something different. And I was thinking about doing watercolors. But I'm afraid anything I would watercolor, it wouldn't be long before I was just tired of it. So what are you guys working on today? Somebody be looking up a pattern for me to draw next, because I'm going to be done with this one in about a half a second. Or a couple minutes. Won't be long. See, now right now, this is when to me it gets really zen. And if you've got like a video on in the background, that's why I listen to a lot of lectures and stuff on YouTube. Because if I start doing this and I'm listening to a lecture or something that I'm either learning from or enjoying, I could do this all day long. All day. And I always save the shading, usually until the very end, when I see how the lines are intersecting and stuff like that. I mean, I could do some shading right now, but I think I'm going to wait. They made so many movies like it back then, they all get mixed up in your head. I agree, Kathleen. At one time I had collected a fair amount of art, more than the house had wall space. I told hubby it was like... And see, I don't. I tend to leave things exactly like they are. I like it the way I have it, most places. But I'm not big on going out and buying other people's artwork. I love other people's artwork, but to have it hanging in my house full time forever, that's not gonna work for me. But I like seeing pictures of the kids from when they were little and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right, looking. If nobody's going to give me, you're working on Margaret Miller's weekly prompt. What is that? All right, let's do a circle one right here, because this is the one I just picked up. It was on top. So let's look here. Now, if I was going to be really persnickety about this, you moved often, different houses seem to need different pictures. I get that, CB. I get that. If nobody's going to give me a design, I'm going to do my own. Just making sure that the lines are supposed to go the same way. And I don't want to have to do too much cleanup on this, so I'm trying to be a little bit more careful. And this one's called Festoon 2. That reminds me of when we got new computers. I worked for a company called Kansas, Nebraska Natural Gas. And we got new computers in the computer department. And so we were all, I don't know, sitting around talking about passwords for our new computers and whatever. And I remember, I think it was me. I don't know what made me think of it, but my new password was going to be Festoon de Luna Mau Mau. So we were sitting in the break room trying to figure out how do you spell Festoon de Luna Mau Mau. And I finally ended up giving my computer the password MEEF, M-E-E-F. I don't know why. We were just sitting there making up words, laughing our heads off. It would have taken me half the day to get into my computer if I'd used Festoon de Luna Mau Mau. All right, this one I'm going to go ahead and shade for you real quick because it only looks cool when it's shaded. And I just use a HB pencil usually to shade. If you want it darker, get a B pencil. But this one is just, it seems like it's a little bit softer lead, HB, and I like it for shading. You probably don't want to sharpen on top of your finished art. Just saying, after I've just done it. Festoon de Luna Mau Mau. I would never have thought of that if this hadn't been Festoon 2. And when I worked at KN, I was a forms designer. So I worked in the computer department because we were switching everything over to computer forms, right? Whether it was input forms or printout forms, gas bills and stuff like that. That's what I used to design. So all the gas bills, if you ever got your services from Kansas, Nebraska Natural Gas, I probably designed all those bills that you got and the envelopes and everything. Now I can't remember what I was going to say about working for KN. Oh, but because I was the only designer, I usually hung out with the guys from the drafting department, and that's the crap that we used to laugh and talk about. The computer people weren't near as funny as the drafting guys. Nelson was his name. He was the funniest guy. He lived really close to me, and I used to come out to go to work in the morning, and there'd be notes on my car because he'd been out partying or something the night before. So he'd drive by my house and leave me crazy notes on my car. And now, looking back, I wish I had saved them. Some of them were so dang funny. And we were all young and single. So it was tons of fun. Letter J, is that what you want me to look up next, Judy? Do something with the letter J? So when you're shading this, anywhere a line connects is kind of where you should look for where your shading should be. See how nice that pencil smears? And if you're going to do this, get yourself some paper stumps or tortillas. They're cheap. You can just throw them away when they're used up. See, doesn't that look cool after you get it shaded? Way cooler than when it's just flat. And I should have erased these lines first, but I didn't. Definitely want to clean it up before I draw it next to it, though. Okay, another thing, after I get that graphite down, now I have to be really careful about running my hand across it, so I'm going to look for my paintbrush. When you work with graphite, that's always a consideration. Letter J? All right, I'll figure it out. And this just prevents you from smearing that graphite all over your page, right? Or you're going to spend a lot of time cleaning up after yourself. How do I know that? Because I've spent a lot of time cleaning up after myself. All right, the next one, she said letter J. So let me go look in the J section of the book. F-H-I-J. By having a book like this, you won't forget your alphabet either. Which, as you get older, that's a consideration you got to think about all the time. Okay, and this one, one of the designs I really like is this one called Jalowsi. I like that. And I don't have any preconceived ideas about what I want or I don't want, so it doesn't matter to me. It's more the spaces. What do you want in the spaces? This one is a really versatile design. Oops, I don't gotta open that. Can work in almost any space. Where if you just work with the curved lines and turn it kind of into checkerboard, lots of different things you can do with that. So it's the same basic design, it's just how you fill it in, right? So that is possible. And I could look up online and see if there's any in here that I don't have. But if I do that, then I have to end up making a card, because that's how my brain works. That one's kind of fun. Let's do this one. I don't know what the name of it is yet. I'll write it on this card as soon as I find out. It's called Jasmine. We'll draw Jasmine just because it's cool looking. I've started writing it on these cards so that I'm not handling them all the time. Alright, that's the one we're going to use. But really, out of all the J's, that one is probably my favorite. I like jetties too. Those are cool. So, yeah. Alright, and this one is Checkerboard. And I'm itching right now to get out the ruler to make sure that my checkerboard is square, and I think I'm going to. Just because you guys know me. You know I don't want a checkerboard that's not right. What's the point in doing it if you're not going to make it right? Right? Right. If me and my ruler business drives you crazy, I want you to stop and think what it's like to be me and have to live like this. It's your fault, not mine. Okay. I'm going to pick a big area over here. So from the edge of the paper, I'll do 1/2 inch squares. It only takes a minute. Just do it. Just do it. Now, if this was like for the ATC giveaway or something like that, I wouldn't go to this trouble. I just eyeball it and then be okay with it. Not because you guys aren't worth it, just because if you're going to let it be organic, you kind of can't cave in to your idiosyncrasies. But since it's going to be in my house, I kind of have to. Because every time I looked at it, I would be like, why didn't you just do a grid and measure it out? I would chastise myself forever over that. So, no point setting yourself up for failure. That doesn't need to sit there. Okay. All that for that little space, right? This may take me 2 lifetimes to get done. And I guess what I should have done was, rather than show the finished piece, is show the step outs. That would probably be better, I imagine. You guys are really quiet in chat. Somebody put something in chat so I know you guys are at least talking. I think I'm going to do this with, oops, pulled the ink out. I'm going to do this with a finer nib. I'm using the 01 this time, because I'm going to draw multiple lines, so. And according to the instructions, you skip one. It's easier to draw it like this when you keep the design. Even though it's not perfect, it's still okay. Okay, so this one would be right in the center, it looks like. And this one wouldn't appear at all. There you go. I am using the Copic multiliners, Colura. I don't remember how much I paid for them, but I love them so much. All right, bye, Dee Dee. Go have a great afternoon. I do. I like them. And what I like most about them is they are absolutely waterproof, and you can buy the No, this one's not going to do it. That other one did it so easily. You can buy the replacement inks and the replacement nibs. So this, you can yank this out and get a replacement nib and add ink. So you get to reuse the pen. Yeah. So I don't know. I highly recommend them. I really do. They're very nice pens. And another thing, sometimes it's how a pen feels in your hand, you know. I really like the way these fit in your hand. They're not real weighty, but there's something really nice about the way they feel in your hand. And I don't worry about crushing the nibs, because on the small ones, I went ahead and bought extra nibs because I know that I will crush them before I'm out of ink, because I've done it 1,000 times with the microns. So, yeah, I just know myself. Sometimes doing the design into the next design is a little bit of a pain, but I'm really trying hard not to crush this nib because I like the 01. So I'm barely touching the paper. But another thing I like about the Copic, and I bought the Jane Davenport pens, but the ink isn't really a nice black. It's almost gray. And that annoys me. I like this ink because, man, it is black. You don't have to go over stuff. It's just, and the fact that they're waterproof, and they are absolutely waterproof. Okay, I'm almost done with this one, so if anybody else wants to give me a letter or a design, do it now or forever hold your peace. When I'm doing this, I really try, even if the lines aren't as nice and even as I would like them, I try not to be critical. You did order them? And you ordered the nibs and a couple of ink cartridges too? Yeah, I did too. I just know me. But I will say that last Monday I showed the less expensive Master's Touch ones that I had bought at Hobby Lobby. They're like their store brand. And I used them, I don't remember what I was drawing, but I used them on something. Oh, I was working in the Beast is what it was. I have to say, for the price, those were not bad pens, but you're back into the same thing of if you use or crush the 01 nib, you just don't have that pen anymore. Where these, I can crush that nib, I can wear the ink out, I can just beat these to death, and I'm going to be able to replace them. So Maybe that's part of the attraction for me. But I like any pen where you can add ink, like a fountain pen or anything like that. Oh, I meant to ask Dee Dee if she'd ever used her Lamy fountain pen. She got one. She ordered it, but I don't know if she's actually ever used it. So, this one, I'm just trying to see. I don't think I want to put the grid in. I think I'm just going to let it sit like that. It'll just be peeking out here. And I'm wondering if I should add it over there too, so it looks like it's underneath the entire design. No, I can always go back and do that. And I'm not going to shade that one yet. Anybody else want to see a design? Do a B. B for Becky. Alright, there's a C. I think there's a lot of B designs. Oh, you know what? Let's look in my little journal that I've been creating, this one, because I remember I did a couple of B's, new designs in here. So, Bunzo, which is on page 15. Let's see if we like it. Oh, that's always a good one. Always a good one. And I'm glad now that I chose not to draw on the back side of these, because look at how the ink has transferred and made that dirty. I don't mind that, but if there was a design on there, I would mind it a lot. So sometimes if you get a good idea, pat yourself on the back. All right, Baton is another one, 21. Let's see. Oh, I like that design. Bubble Love. Let's see what Bubble Love is. Oh, that one's nice too. And since I kind of have this design, all right, I like this design. I'm thinking let's do it. Bubble Love. Now, anytime I have found a new one and put it in here, I'd like to think that I did the corresponding, yep, I did, step out to put in the book. Yeah, I like Bubble Love. Let's do Bubble Love. Where do we want to put it? Let's do it in there. I'm going to erase that line to give myself a little bit bigger area to work in. We got to give it the space it deserves, right? Hi, Mindy. And this is doing something like this is crazy because it doesn't really all come together until you're done. And like this one that I drew, it's going to appear like on its side because this will be its orientation. Portrait rather than landscape, right? So, yeah, we're going to do this one. Because I also like the circles in the background. So, yep, that's what we're doing. Did I get this step out? I was going to let you guys look at this step out. Here we go. This is a really, really simple design. So, you can watch me do it and make yourself a card or put it in your book or whatever. A pile of dung in the corner. That's not a pile of dung. It's some kind of creature all curled up on itself, Dorothy. But if you think it's a pile of dung, then it can be whatever you want it to be. don't think you necessarily have to change the orientation. I just think it's more interesting if you do, so that's why I'm doing that. So they're not always looking the same way. Okay. This one really looks better when it's shaded too. Hey, Donna. Alright, I'm going to get out a bigger nib now to do the circles, because I'm going to do I'll leave these lighter, so I want the circles in the background to kind of fill up the rest of the space. So I'm going to get out the 05. And I'll make them all different sizes. And this is when the intensity of the black ink, in my opinion, makes a big, big, big difference. Because if it's not really, really black, it just doesn't look good. But that could be my anal tendency coming out too, just saying. Oh, and I was going to ask you guys, I don't know why this just popped in my head, but a few years ago, a lot of you who have been around for a while know that I had asked for prayers for my niece, Jessica. She has an autoimmune disease, and it took literally years to get diagnosed. And it's so debilitating. But they found a treatment. She ended up going to, I'll just give you a little bit of the history. She ended up going to Mayo Clinic and to get a diagnosis. And they came up with a treatment that seemed to be working really, really well for her. And I don't know what has happened recently, but the treatments have stopped being effective. And in the last couple months, she has reverted back to where she was about the time that she went to the Mayo Clinic. And it's really, really wrecking her life. I mean, if I could even begin to explain what this autoimmune disease is doing. So if you're a praying person, please take a moment and include Jessica in your prayers. She could really use it. Poor thing. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I don't know what they're going to do. I talked to my brother the other day, and I'm really hoping and praying that she can get back up to Mayo Clinic. Right, CB, you've been around, so you kind of know what she's been through. She's young. She's in her early 30s. And, you know, I think a lot of us, and I lecture about this a lot, so this isn't going to be new to a lot of you, but it's unbelievable how much we take for granted. This young girl in her 30s, I think she's happy enough. My brother and sister-in-law try and make her life as joyful as they possibly can, right? But yeah, we take so much for granted. So, yeah, I appreciate any prayers to Jessica that you can offer up. I'm a huge believer in the power of prayer, so I don't mind calling out on people who are believers to help. I think a lot of people praying for something definitely changes the vibes in the universe. So thank you so much to those of you who do. Hey, Julie Topaz. Yeah, it's so sad. When my brother was telling me, I was just like, oh my God. Not again. Poor thing. She's just... And the crazy thing was, the way it has manifested itself, it's a sensory neurological is how it manifests itself, where literally her body is attacking her own nervous system and the nerves in her body. And so she can't feel her feet, her hands. It starts out in your extremities, and so as a result, you can't walk. At some point, you can't use your hands. It's just devastating. So, yeah, she's back in a wheelchair. And with the treatments and the rehab that they had done, she was walking on her own without even a walker. But every time this happens, there's lingering damage. So, yeah. I hope they get something that will work again so she doesn't experience too much long-term damage, right? Because it's so frightening. So again, just thank you. I appreciate it. And another just reminder to don't take for granted what you have. Because we're all so very fortunate in so many respects, you know. Thank you, Judy. Appreciate that very, very much. But what I'm really hoping is they get her back to the Mayo Clinic. I guess the neurosurgeon, or the neurologist, I don't know if he's a neurosurgeon, but the neurologist that she met with up there, and she had literally been to every doctor in Oklahoma, it seems like. It took him about 10 minutes to figure out what was going on with her. And that's the difference between working in small regional hospitals, which I would even include Tulsa, Oklahoma in, and world-renowned research facilities. The doctors there are just so much more exposed, I guess. I don't know necessarily that they're smarter. I suspect they are, because they wouldn't be in those jobs if they weren't. But like, he knew immediately what she was up against and what the treatment was. But they were so thorough at the Mayo Clinic. Like, they ran massive amounts of tests, and he ran one. And it's interesting to hear my brother talk about it, because he was up there with her. And he said, this will be the determining test. If we put her on this tilt board and something happens, I can't remember what, her blood pressure rose or something. I mean, it was just something you'd never think of in a million years. It was so out of the box. But they put her on a tilt table, and I think it was your blood pressure rose. Either real rapidly, or there was something about it. But anyway, he said, then I know that my diagnosis is correct. But he said, just by viewing her and the story of what had happened, he said, I pretty much know that it's sensory ganglionopathy. But the sad thing is, he said, the treatments don't always work forever. So I don't know if there's another treatment out there. I hope so. We're going to find out, I suspect. If they can get her back to Mayo Clinic. And that's another thing. You can't just walk into Mayo Clinic. Like, you need referrals. You know, if you think you're just going to take your sick kid and walk into Mayo Clinic, that ain't going to happen. But because she's been there before and because her condition is so rare, I'm wondering if my brother couldn't call and say, you know, use that doctor's name, because he's still at Mayo Clinic. They know that. And just ask if he would consider seeing her again, because the neurologist that she's dealing with here, and I don't understand medical people a lot of times, the neurologist she has here seems hesitant to make the recommendation. Now, wouldn't you want your patient to have every advantage they could have? If you knew that you could not help your patient, what would keep you from, oh, I'm going to shade this later. Yeah, what would keep you from making the recommendation? That's the thing I don't get, is why would you hesitate to make the recommendation? I don't get it. But that's just me, you know? And I was going to do something different with that, but I got talking and forgot, so oh well. But I like the polka dot background. I'll hold it up so you guys can see it, because I like that different size polka dot background. That's way cool. And it'll look cool when I shade it, because I'll shade around the shapes and I'll shade the shapes so that the, is it a paisley shape? Looks three-dimensional. So that was my good news. But I wanted to remember to do that today, so thank you. All right, that's going back. What else? Another letter. Yeah, it looks cool, right? Let me go ahead and shade it, because it's not fair for you guys not to see it, and I'll just have to be uber careful that I don't, you know, like even setting my hand on that and moving it around. I'll smear that, but I'll clean it up. It's not like we're doing fine art here, right? Can't forget what we're doing. And honestly, you guys, I know that you don't come here to hear sob stories. But I feel like we're friends. I really do. Like, you guys are my friends. So I don't mind talking to you about things that I would talk to my friends about, right? So I hope I didn't bum anybody out. That was not the intent at all. It was more including my friends in what's going on in my life. Speaking of friends in my life, Miss Amy started her new job today. She's at training, and she's moved. They moved their furniture and everything over the weekend. So my buddy Amy is now a resident in a town not near me, which is a complete bummer, but happy for her. So I need to just cool my jets. And as much as I'm going to miss Amy, Robert is really going to miss Lane. Really, really. But Robert's like me. He's happy for them. But it's hard to say goodbye. I did my best not to cry. But I did not completely succeed. And Amy said she would try and come to streams. She doesn't know what her schedule's going to be yet, but she said she would try and come to streams occasionally, if she can. So happy for them. They're moving on to another chapter. It's really cool with the shading. Doesn't that look cool when it's shaded? I love that. All right, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and listen. You like the polka dots? Thanks, Dorothy. It does feel like friends here, right, Mindy? And I truly believe we are. That went fast. That was fast. Thanks, Dabbler. We have, Julie. When I think back how long it's been. Well, the other day, yesterday, Jamie sent me a picture of his new puppy and his old dog and then his daughter's new dog. And I said, oh my gosh, Remington, his older dog. I said, Remington looks so old. And he said, well, he's 13 years old now. And honestly, if you'd have asked me, I'd have said, oh, Remington's about 5. Where the hell does the time go? Thanks, Judy. I feel like that we're all friends and sisters, and so, yeah, I know some people are a little weird about sharing personal stuff. I'm not. Well, some things, obviously, I'm not going to share, but most of the stuff, I mean, I don't have any secrets in my life. Exactly, Brenda. Hi, by the way. All right, we're coming up with another design. I think I'm going to do one called Ticking. Okay, when I'm planning this out and thinking about what I'm going to do next, this one is a light, airy design. And I kind of try and weight it, and that's why I move from one end to the other end to the other end, so that I can kind of feel the weight as I move across it. Try not to spit on your art, because, yeah, that leaves your DNA. Fortunately, this is waterproof ink, so it won't smear. But anyway, yeah, right now, all I'm doing is kind of weighting the piece. So I'm thinking, because this one's so light and airy, I want something either medium weight or very heavy weight next to it. So I could do something like this, where you've got heavy ink. I wouldn't want to do something lightweight next to it, because then they're not going to stand out. I like that one a lot. But I thought I had another pretty heavyweight one. I didn't. And I don't want to do this one, because I've got the kind of diagonal pattern, or diamond pattern here, which would be repeating it right next to it. So I try and keep those things in mind as I'm doing it. Poke root might be a good one, because that can end up with a lot of dark. But I'm kind of thinking we're going to do Summer Sister. And it's another grid pattern, but yeah, maybe I shouldn't do a grid pattern next to that. Of course, if I erase that, it's not going to feel much like a grid pattern. See how much I have to think to just get through the day? God. I think I am going to try that. I'm not going to do a huge amount, but I think I'm going to try it. I think it'll look good next to it. I'll do it up in this corner, because this is light and area too, so. Yep. Or I'll do ticking here. I think I'll do ticking there. Okay. I think I have a plan, you guys. Oh, I put my pencil in the wrong place. Sometimes if all I want is straight lines, because I have these crazy templates around. I'm just going to use it. And the distance on these is not the same, so I have to move it. And they're somewhat straight, but I don't care if they're not completely parallel. You know what I mean? They are to some extent. All right. You know what? I'm going to bring that down to there. Make that space a little bit bigger. And there aren't really going to be lines, but it just gives me an idea of where I'm going to put. All right, I'm going to try and get that 02 to work better, because I was a little disappointed. All right, let's go with that one and try it. Oh, okay, Brenda. All right, well then I'll do the shading so that you can see. When you're doing it on your own, unless you're really mindful about smearing, every design is going to look better with its shading, I promise you. So on each of those lines that I drew down, ooh, that one's different distance. I don't necessarily want different distances after I just told you that. Okay, it was that one that I was using, goofball. Okay. So the one that I'm doing now, I didn't get the card out, but I just saw it on here. This is what the design looks like. And it's a medium weight one that works really well. And after you add the shading, it's awesome. So you start just by doing some ovals, and I'm going to drop bigger than it was shown in that little sheet. So I just draw the ovals on the straight line. And I'm going to make this one go down into the design underneath it. And I guess I should do that on this one as well. So I'll let the vertical row of ovals go down. Yeah. Because that's another thing you have to do is keep the designs meshing with one another so that you almost can't tell where one ends and the next one begins. At least that's what I try and do. Okay. So this one's going to end kind of abruptly, so whatever design I put over here, I'm going to have to keep that in mind, because that abrupt end to me just feels a little weird, but that's the way it's going to be. And it's the curved lines that join them that give it dimensions. So doesn't matter how straight they are, how even they are, because your eyeballs aren't going to be able to pay attention to that when it's done. Not so much your eyeballs as just your brain. Depends on how broken your brain is. And I'm obviously not going to get this done today. So I'll probably go ahead and work on it and take a photo and put it on Instagram. And if I end up using it in the frames, I'll try and take a picture of it in the frames so you can see how it ultimately looks. I'm still not entirely convinced that I'm going to like it, but we'll see. I think I'm going to feel weird having my own artwork displayed. I've never really done that. I have a couple of cross stitches that I particularly liked that I did, but you saw how many I made that I never displayed, so just one of those crazy things. Now this has worked out good where the lines in this are going to go ahead and incorporate into the other design. I didn't plan it that way, but sometimes serendipity happens and it's just awesome when it does. Because it looks like I just planned it that way. I didn't plan it that way. I'm not even sure if you could plan it that way, honestly. And this is the part where I think it gets very zen. When you're doing the repetitive, just over and over, same mark. If I wasn't streaming, that's the part that I really like. That's when my mind starts wandering and I start thinking about who knows what. Probably nothing good. That's why I listen to lectures a lot while I'm doing it. I listened to a really good one last night. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. Okay, never mind. I can't tell you about it. But it was Jordan Peterson talking about the Bible. It was really, really a good lecture. Or just, it wasn't a lecture. It was more of a talk with, the guy's name was Puget, I think. I don't remember now. Hey, I've got a question for you guys, and you're going to think I'm absolutely out of my mind. But anyway, that won't be anything new. Have any of you played The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker on the Wii? I'll wait for an answer while I do this. You have stuff in your art room of yours, as well as others and quilts you made in the family room. Yeah, see, I just never really have done that. I just haven't. I know other people have displayed my art. I just have not. And I've made quilts for the kids and stuff like that. But yeah, not my own. I know that seems crazy. Crazy. Yeah, I've created a problem for myself here. Oh well, I'm just going to draw these lines up to a certain point, and then I will stop, and whatever is next to it, I'll just have to incorporate in, I guess. I can always go back and add if I need to. All right, you guys are saying no. Is the Wii still going? Have played on that in years. I've seen other people play it. Okay. You can't buy a new Wii system, but when Nathan was here, well, and even when my granddaughter was here earlier in the year, for whatever reason, I discovered that my Wii had quit working. And Nathan was like, you gotta get another one. Because he likes, remind you of shredded wheat. He liked the games. So, okay, I went out in search of, well, I would have bought a new one if I could have found one. And Nathan and I tried to fix mine. We, watched YouTube videos, things to do to try and get it working because it was just not reading the discs. So we went out and searched. Well, we tried the things they suggested and it didn't work. So I found a refurbished one on eBay, I believe. Yeah, it was eBay. And I went ahead and ordered it. So when it came, naturally, I had to test it, right? Because you don't, I mean, yeah, I wanted to make sure it worked. So I got out the Wind Waker game and started playing it. Well, pretty soon you're addicted, right? And you're playing this stupid game. And if you've played Wind Waker, you know, there's a whole series of things you have to do to progress in the game. Typical of any Zelda game. Legends of Zelda games. You guys, the craziest thing happened. I was collecting the Triforce shards, or the maps of where to find the Triforce shards, and you guys are going to say, oh my God, girl, you need to grow up. Well, I defeated the monster to get map number 5, and I opened all the chests to get the map, and I didn't get the map. I got money. So now I can't progress in the game. And I'm pissed. I'm pissed off that I've invested this time because I was going to go ahead and finish it. I don't know what to do. And I've looked it up online, and other people have done this, but they never said, did they just quit playing and just say, oh, well, it's busted, whatever. But I know it works because Nathan and I and Joe and I had done it before. We had finished the entire game, and it is a really fun game. You get to kill all kinds of monsters, and anyway. If this is the worst problem I ever have in my life, I'm a very lucky girl. But yeah. If anybody has any suggestions, could you speak up now? I'm probably just going to quit playing the game and just say, screw it, I'm pissed. I'm never playing again. Know what I mean? Was it real money? Good. Swap for maps if so. No, it's game money. You was hooked on Zelda for years. I love every one of the Zelda games. Yeah, I think I'm screwed. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it. So I either start the game over, which I don't want to do because what if I get back to that same place and it's not there? I'd be so mad. I still like killing the monsters, so but I've told you guys I'm a 12-year-old boy at heart, so this should not surprise you. Yeah, that's so funny how that worked out, where the two designs just melded together right there. Very cool, very, very cool. I'll hold up the shading so you can see when this one's done. I am going to have to go back in. Some of my lines when I was going across, I wasn't that careful, but I'll go back in with a white pen and clean it up. In fact, well, no, I'm not going to do it right now. I'll do that at the very end because that will grab onto the excess graphite. I will erase, though. Okay, can you see the difference in the weight of the two? It's not a real dark pattern, it's kind of medium. So it works well with what's next to it. Go ahead and get the graphite out of those circles. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it at least nice. There. Focus, you freak. Doesn't that look cool? Other than find out if the walkthrough has to be done in a certain order. Nope. Nope, Dabbler. I looked for instructions like that and never saw it. I still have PlayStation 2. I never upgraded any of those. Do you have to go back to square one, or can you try for step? Nope. Nope. That's the sad thing about it is, I guess after I went ahead and, well, regardless, as soon as you save the game, you're beyond that. And I've gone back and looked for it time and time and time again, even to the point where when you get to that part of the ocean, well, anywhere in the ocean, if there's a chest under sea, it makes a different kind of noise in the background, so you know you're getting close to the chest. I mean, I've gone back and sailed that thing. It feels like inch by inch, and I have not been able to find the chest. So I think I'm just going to blow it off. I don't know. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this one now. But I don't want to do it all the way around that. I think I'm going to do it up in here. Because you need a big enough area where you can actually see how the pattern emerges. It's got to be fairly big, so yeah, I think I'll do that. And again, this is a grid pattern. So let's do it. If you guys have any questions, speak up. This design that I'm doing here is called Summer Sitter. Or if somebody else wants me to do a design that they have in mind, just let me know. And I'm going to do this grid kind of big so that the pattern really stands out. Doesn't have to be exact, but close would be good. And I don't think there's any rules really about, you know, if you're using multiple grid patterns in a piece, that your grids all be the same size. I do it for convenience. So I don't have to sit and measure all that out. Yeah, that's why I do it. Just convenient. Put some spring rolls in the air fryer. Yeah, we had Chinese last night. I made egg rolls. I don't make them from scratch, mind you. But yeah, we had egg rolls and broccoli beef last night. It was delicious. Robert likes Chinese food. And I like it too. It's okay. All right, just looking at this. I started this without a grid, so I'm just thinking now that I've drawn the grid, how am I going to make this work? Because they don't, the beginning pieces don't touch each other, even though they're straight lines. I'm just thinking, all right, I'm just going to go for it. Try and keep my spacing. You know what? Before I get too far, I'm just going to do this is how unsure I am about what I've done, because even though it looks like a grid pattern, it's not really a grid pattern. Just going to test it out real quick. I'm going to have to order, I think, a new nib for this too. For whatever reason, the ink is not flowing well after I've told you guys, these are great pens. Well, I'm not happy with this O2. And it could be I've used it a lot, because I have used these pens a lot. All right, see why if I use the grid, that means that this one I need to space out and maybe, yeah, this is not going to work, I don't think. Well, it'll give me a place to start anyway. Because then I'd have to jump a line. All right, I'm going to find a different grid pattern to use in there. Yeah, because they've got, that's not going to work. Well, I could do this one in the center, I guess. Yeah, that grid isn't going to help me at all. Egg rolls and General Tso's are your favorite? I'm kind of iffy on Chinese food. I like some of it a lot, and then other of it, I'm just like, ugh, that's the grossest crap anybody ever cooked. So, but egg rolls, I do love me some egg rolls. All right, let me look for a grid pattern and see what one's going to go well there, because that one's not going to work. And I want around that. That's kind of airy, so I could get away with something a little more intense. I think. And I always like any kind of checkerboard, anything. I'm a fan. I am a fan. That's kind of big for that, though. Okay, I'm looking at the grid patterns. I'm thinking I like that Demi 1 and Demi 2, the kind of the opposites. I kind of like those two. And a lot of these grids I put on the diagonal. You know what? Flutter tile would be good in there. Just enough dark. I'm thinking. All right, that's one we're going to do. You need to taste Caribbean Chinese food. Really? How's it different, Donna? Yeah, see, I'm not crazy about a lot of the sweet stuff, but as soon as I say that, probably one of my favorite things is sweet and sour pork. And when you go to like Chinese buffets and stuff, they never have that. But in a Chinese restaurant, that would be my favorite. Sweet and sour pork. Or another thing I love, and I do cook this from scratch. I do love it enough that I will cook it from scratch.
Is attempting to reach you on your cellular device. An idiot is attempting to reach you on your cellular device.
Hang on, it's Robert Vaughn. What's up? You there? Do what? Do what?
That's all they have is coffee mate.
Where are you at? Sorry, guys. I think he's in Dollar General because the phone never works in there.
Yes, I'm Dollar General. Not here.
I couldn't hear a word you said.
All right, hang on a minute.
Okay.
Yep, front door.
Good idea.
I'm at Dollar General.
Okay.
Get your coffee mate.
Oh, okay. Is it liquid?
Yes, there's all kinds of liquid, but it's not what you want.
Yeah, I don't think I want. No, don't buy that. I don't want that.
You want me to get any at all?
Nah, don't worry about it. We'll get it another day.
All right, I'll try it. The next one, next door.
Okay. Buy the smallest amount, honey.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, bye.
See you, bye. I don't know, because Dollar General is a metal building, for whatever reason, your phone doesn't work in there. And I need creamer. Coffee creamer. But I want real half and half. I don't want Coffee Mate or anything like that. I want real creamer. And I definitely don't want powder. And in the end, why I said don't get anything, Robert won't read the package, and he'll come home with hazelnut or some crap that I really hate. So, yeah, I'd rather have nothing than something I'm going to throw away. Poor man. He does try. He tries so dang hard. I would hate to put up with me. And what's frustrating is because we live out here in the middle of nowhere, he'll drive now all the way into town to find me something. I know he will, and he doesn't need to, but I just know him, and he will. Alright, that I think looks pretty good. Alright, I have to go back and find out about that Caribbean Chinese food. See, you guys are talking about, you can see what a Yankee I am. You guys are talking about food I've never even heard of. Okay. I'm going to use a little bit bigger nib to do the dark parts. Because that number 1 nib, after a while I'll be frustrated. So don't frustrate yourself. It's not worth it. Quiet in here. I bet you guys are sitting there going, I hope she doesn't miss that one right there. Caught it. Yeah, this number 2 is having issues. I'm going to have to diagnose that bad boy. Alright, I'm getting hungry because I'm starting to think about what I need to cook when I finish streaming. Working on Christmas tags. Holy cow. Yeah, so you guys talking about food, that you've got me thinking, what do I want to eat when I get done here? Alright, that nib is too big, so I'm going to have to either go back. The 02 isn't working. We're going to try the 01. Because I do want this to be neat. You know, I don't want it to be a mess. And if I don't use the correct nib, I'm going to end up with a mess. Another thing, if depending on the pens you're using, like my pencil lines are still in this design, but I'm going to want it to not have those at some point. Make sure your ink is really dry before you go in with an eraser. These Copics, and again, it depends on the paper, they dry really quick. And what made me think about that is I have to decide if I want the grid lines to appear or if I don't want them to appear. And I think I'm going to not have them appear. And I think it's okay either way. I just think I'm going to try not having them. designs like this are a little tedious, but you got to remember, well, for streams. And that's why I don't tangle a lot on stream. Doing this kind of tedious stuff when I'm sitting here by myself watching a lecture or something doesn't bother me a little bit. But knowing you guys are just sitting there, it does make me a little bit nervous. So, yeah, this little tedious amount of work here, yeah, that's annoying me right now. Judy lives in Illinois. I think I've driven through Illinois, but never really stopped. Well, I can't say I haven't been too much east of here. I worked in Philadelphia, New Jersey for about a year. So I did spend a lot of time in the east, but it was working. I wasn't traveling around and seeing places. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised with New York and New Jersey. I was expecting, and believe me, there were plenty of them, but I was expecting a bunch of rude people, because that's how they're portrayed a lot on TV, right? And so that's all I had to go by. I really had never dealt with people from New York and New Jersey. I have to say, I loved them. I didn't like being away from home, but I did actually enjoy my time there. But I think I've just driven through Illinois. Never been to Chicago. Easy drive to Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm sure of that. Actually, where I'm at, I'm almost center of the country. So getting anywhere from here is really not that bad. For example, you think of Oklahoma to Georgia is a long drive. The distance between here and Denver is the exact same as the distance between here and Atlanta, Georgia. So I think it's deceiving. I didn't realize that. I thought the drive to Atlanta was going to be so much further than to go home to Denver. 12 hours. But don't ever get lost in Birmingham. That's my free advice to you. Don't get lost in Birmingham, Alabama. Scariest thing I ever did. Well, I had a pretty scary night in New Jersey, though, too. Because of those damn jug ears. And anybody who's driven in New Jersey knows what I'm talking about. If you're from the West and you go to New Jersey,
Still no
crazy.
ice cream, no coffee, half and half.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'll figure it out later. Or I'll do without. I won't like it, but I will do without.
Okay.
See, that's one of the problems of living out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, and Nettie lives in Illinois too. See? But I don't know. I don't know how long it would take to get up there. St. Louis is about 5 hours from here. I do know that. Because I've driven through there 150 times, maybe. Oh, man. Oh, well. I think I can make... I got that one too close to the line. But I can always go back in and make a few little corrections with white ink. I don't necessarily want to, but I know I can. So, yeah, nothing's not fixable. I really wish I had a better... You know what? Maybe I'll try that plastic nib. Because that little 0.1 nib is annoying the hell out of me right now. Let's see. Did I put the plastic nib back? Where'd I put it? Alright, now I'm annoying myself, you guys. When I can't find stuff, I'm very annoyed at myself. It ought to be sticking out like a sore thumb around here. Honestly, how can I lose stuff? There it is. Never mind. Put it in the wrong place. You're close to Springfield, Missouri? Springfield, Missouri is about 2 hours from me, Calora. We should do a meetup. I'm going to be meeting Julie, I hope. Topaz Pearl Girl. I hope I'm going to be meeting her in Springfield or Branson sometime this fall. I'm actually looking forward to that. Because of this whole COVID thing, we haven't really been going anywhere. Well, that and the damn cat, okay? Let's just be honest here. The cat kept me home for years. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. But I don't know if you guys are talking about Springfield, Missouri or Springfield, Illinois or someplace different. Wouldn't that be fun, Becky? Do a meetup. That would be awesome. We should plan on that. I don't know when Julie's going to get all of her meeting details. I don't even know if she's still here. But yeah, then we should figure out if people want to come down and meet up. I'm definitely going over to Springfield to meet her. I'm totally psyched about it. Because, yeah, Julie and I have known each other on the computer, I'm going to say 10 years. Because Dee Dee said this morning she'd been streaming 11 years, I think. And I wasn't at Dee Dee's when she started streaming, but I think I started attending shortly after she started. Because when she shows stuff, I think I've seen everything she ever showed. But I did go back and watch a lot of her videos, too. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've watched virtually every Dee Dee video. Almost done with this one. Yeah, the plastic nib micron is working well. Okay, so you guys aren't talking Springfield, Missouri? You're talking Springfield? Because I know there's Springfields all over the country, so... Springfield, Missouri is about 120 miles. But I know there are multiples, so... And other than that, I don't have any plans for travel. Not that I wouldn't go anywhere, but no plans right now. Until we figure out what this pandemic crap's gonna do. I just feel better staying a little bit closer to home. Now this design has melded right into the pile of crap that Dorothy called it. And that's what I like when they start meeting up. Okay. Just looking. Hi, Jan. You're trying to find someone to replace your lost key fob. Oh, no, Jan. Because those bad boys are, like, pricey. Bye, Donna. Have a great afternoon. I'm almost done. Yeah, see, I've only got 10 more minutes in my stream anyway, so I'll get this one done and I'll get it erased and shaded and then probably call it a day. And then I'll probably have to post the finished product on Instagram and show it next week. By next week, if I decide that I'm going to display it, I'll have it in its frame. So you guys weren't talking about Springfield, Missouri. Nobody ever answered me. This one's going to take a little bit of cleanup. That's okay. I don't mind. Still haven't heard when and if the kids are coming, since they had to cancel. I think real life is interfering, which I get. I totally get. Make sure I got all the places. Okay, on this one, I'm going to go ahead now. I never know how I'm going to end or meld these, so that's why I waited till the end to do this. But now I'll go ahead and draw the line to separate them, because otherwise this border pattern looks kind of weird. And I don't want weird if I can help it. I live weird. And then it'll give me an idea of where I need to shade. Springfield, Illinois. Okay. That one is pretty, right? CB, I like it. And after I get this erased and get it shaded and cleaned up, I like it. It's a nice one. I think too much of it can be overwhelming, but just the right amount can be very nice. And even though my shapes are not always consistent, it's hard to tell when you get all the black and all the design put together. So consistency, while it's important, it's not it's not that important. Okay. And if you get the shading too dark or whatever, just pick it up with a kneaded eraser. This one now, I'm looking at it and I'm going, that's a little dark. I think I got carried away, but that's okay. I'll just go over it with a kneaded eraser. That'll be part of the very end cleanup. And otherwise, I've been on 3 hours, which is hard to believe. I'm going to go mess with those alphabet that Dee Dee sent. And I will, the very first thing I'll do, just in case you guys are wondering, I will put it in alphabetical order. Who would not keep their stuff in alphabetical order? I don't know. And I'm going to go ahead and shade around the blob of crap. I'm going to try this while it's right here. Hey, Tambit. Who got hurt? Jan got hurt? Well, get speedy recovery, Jan. All right, I'm thinking with that dark shading that I put on there, I might make them look a little bit like flowers and not put a big white dot, but just a little white. Oops, I didn't spread that. Graphite. Pay attention, girl. Don't use just part of the design. Do the whole design. Free advice. If it turns out I don't like the white dot in the middle, I'll just go over it with black. But I just want to see what it looks like. I think it'll look good. Not a big thing, but a little thing can make a big difference. So I'll hold it up again. Because seeing it in the camera makes a big difference. Hey, Kathy Arbor. Just came in from all day gardening. Your weather must be beautiful. All right. Yeah, I like the dot in the center. And I hope that's focusing you freak for you guys. Yeah, it looks good. So I'll go in here and straighten up some of these lines and stuff, but I'm happy with it. It came out good. But I'll do that at the very end because the white ink will glom on to any graphite that might be moving. So, yeah, I'll do that at the end. Thanks, Tori. Yeah, I didn't get much done, it doesn't seem, but that's okay. I'd rather take my time and have it done really well. Okay, here's my plans for what I'm going to finish. I need a dark design over in here, I think. So I'll probably put a dark one here, because then that'll help balance it. But keep in mind, it's only half a sheet, so this one isn't going to appear with this one. I mean, they'll be on the same table, but they won't be, you know, right next to each other. This reminds me of lasagna noodles. What reminds you of lasagna noodles? This one? I don't know. Okay, and I need to... There's still some erasing that's got to go on over here. How did I not get that done? So anyway, yeah, I'm going to call it a day now. I appreciate so much you guys hanging with me. Hope you have a great afternoon. I'm going to... After I said I wasn't going to shade, I ended up shading for you guys. Yeah, I'm going to go figure out what I'm going to eat since y'all made me hungry talking about your food. I wish I had some of Judy's pie and some of her salmon. She just tortured me today with nothing but food. So yeah, I hope you guys go have a great afternoon, evening. I probably will. And I'll keep working on this. When I get it done, I will post it on IG. I will. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, just finishing up on chat. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you, Rachel. Prayers for Jessica. I appreciate that a lot. And I will, I'll post this. And yeah, I'm going to figure out how to get some cream for my coffee. Put Robert's happy ass in the car and tell him to go. Ouch. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for hanging with me. I will see you later. Bye now.